Welcome to the roller coaster ride of business with Hannah Edwards on Global Voice Radio. Hannah and her guests share the real deal, the ups and downs, the highs and lows of building a business. Here is your host, Hannah Edwards.
Hey guys, and welcome to the roller coaster ride of business. I'm your host, Hannah Edwards, and today I am joined by Abigail Sinclaire of the Human Network Connection. Thank you for joining me, Abigail.
Thank you for having me, Hannah. I'm excited to be here.
So it's been a long time coming. I mean, I've done 27 episodes of this show and I'm only just getting you on here.
You've been very busy. You've been really productive with what you're doing here.
Well, I'm not the only one. So we're focusing on your Human Network Connection business today. And the numbers you've been putting up and you've been sharing, it's literally exploded. So I imagine you've just become really hectic all of a sudden.
Yeah, definitely. It's over the last 2 months, it's really kind of come into its own and is reaching a whole new level of, the dream that I have, where I imagine seeing the Human Network Connection going.
So what made you start the Human Network Connection? What is it all about?
Sure. So initially I was, I still design them. They're called media sheets or one speaker sheets.
Yeah.
And essentially what was happening is I was creating these for people to use, and though they were very happy with the product at hand, they weren't sure how they could find interview opportunities. They weren't sure where to start or how to get that ball rolling. And so I started kind of thinking about, I actually know a lot of people who do podcasts, and I know at the time you had just started your magazine. And so I thought, you know what? I know people, I can help them reach this next level that they need. And so thus the Human Network Connection was born, and I started creating the weekly gazette for people to find interview opportunities, essentially.
Cool. So this literally came from just that one idea. Now, from everything I've seen online, I mean, we've been friends for a couple of years on Facebook now, which it seems to have flown by, not going to lie. These last few years have just gone nuts. When we first became friends, you were interested in the graphic design side of things, but doing your catering company, your graphic design business was just like starting out. You were doing all your virtual assistant business. And I was just like, when you first mentioned Human Network Connection, I was just like, how the heck are you fitting in something else? Because at the time you hadn't long left your full-time job either. You were literally just there like me, full-time job, all these millions of business ideas on the side. And then all of a sudden there was another one. And I was just like, do you not sleep?
I do sleep. I think honestly, self-care is so important, especially when you have so much going on. I often tell people you can't burn both wicks of the candle. You'll be done. But it is all about, I call it the stair-stepping method. My first idea was to leave my corporate job and become a VA. And that was step one. And then from there, step two was to start looking at other business ideas that I had and how I could start integrating them. Yeah. And so that was the graphic design that I still do on the side as well. And then it's just kind of from there, just progressed. And I always had this notion of life where you just kind of go with it. When something starts pulling you and your interest level of it peaks and you just can't stop thinking about it, it's a sign. You have to go for it, and you have to make that time. And whatever sacrifices you have to make for that, I'm more than happy to do, because I love it. Everything I do is passion for me.
Yeah. So the thing is, this isn't going to be the only thing. You've got another thing in the pipeline that, I mean, we've been talking about, and you're doing the course for it all now. So how are you fitting that one in?
Yeah. So that one I'm not officially launching until January of 2019. I'm wrapping up my course now. It's for cognitive behavioral therapy certification. And what I plan on doing with that is launching a business called the Nerdy Mentor Girl. And with that, ideally, I'm going to be doing obviously one-on-one coaching, but I plan on bringing in my graphical design abilities, and I'm going to be creating these comic-themed workbooks that show people how to use the CBT methods and tactics through basically journaling processes. that's kind of where that direction is going to go, but not until January. So
where are you getting all these ideas from?
Good question.
Every time we talk at the moment, there are like new ideas flying around, and I'm just like, heck.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to answer that. They kind of come to me, and I just go with it. You know, if I feel like there's something there, then I just keep chasing that dream and make it happen.
So obviously, you're, like I said before, you're like me. You had a full-time job. What is it that made you want to make the change from full-time job to like freelancing, basically business owner?
Sure. This is actually something that I've recently discussed with one of my virtual assistant partnerships. So interesting. He loves working with the VAs, but he also wants to know their journey, like what made them step out of that realm too. And really, it just boils down to, well, first of all, I make more money. You know, I have a better lifestyle because of it. I can literally, last year I was working from Hawaii for about a month and a half out of the year. This year I'm going to
about that at all, by the way.
Right, yeah. In about a couple months, 3 months, I think, November, I'm going to be in Japan, and I'm still going to be able to work and be doing these services and providing these opportunities for people. So really, I wanted more freedom, and I guess I never really felt 100% appreciated at any of my corporate positions. I always felt they could fire me or get rid of me anytime, and they'd be just fine, and they didn't really care about, you know, my personal well-being and the things I could bring to them. So I wanted to work and feel valuable, and if that's for myself, then that's just the direction I had to go for me. So.
Yeah. So you were saying about working from Hawaii. Like I said, I wasn't jealous about that at all. Like, seriously, there were pictures like every single day, and she's like, I'm working from the beach today, I'm working from this point today, I just hiked up this place today, and I was like, wow, I've been to work and now I'm working from my dining table.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, you know, most months out of the year, I'm also working from, you know, my makeshift office in my living room. So it's not always that glamorous, but it's wonderful that I don't have to ask for time to take away. I don't have to get someone else's permission. I want to do it and I can do it, then I will do it. So very lucky in that aspect. And, you know, if anyone is thinking about becoming a virtual business owner of any nature, I mean, I recommend it. It's so much more fulfilling. I'm happier. My stress levels are lower, even with a billion projects that I'm managing. It's, you know, it's great.
So, I mean, this is the thing, obviously, like we were discussing beforehand, a friend and I are looking at coming to San Diego for a week, but I need 2 years to actually be able to save up for this expensive trip. And obviously by then I'm hoping to not have the full-time job and just all the business ideas. So now I'm like literally just going to take my laptop, make sure it's charged, and just go and like sod off to the beach for an hour and just sit on the beach and do some work.
Exactly. Yeah, and honestly, it doesn't feel like work when it's things you thoroughly enjoy and you're not just like counting hours to leave your job. You know, it feels totally different, and I think that's also something beautiful about it. You know, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't have that negative connotation to it.
And see, this is what I love. I mean, I love sitting there in Canva and getting things designed so that, like, and it's just the sitting there and designing bits, knowing that I'm doing it for someone else. My thing is, with my virtual assistant business, I love doing the smaller tasks that people don't like newsletters, designing little social media bits and pieces so that they can focus on growing their business. So while I'm growing my business, I'm helping them grow their business. And it's like I can sit there with some of my clients and be like, I helped out with that. I helped out with that one. Like, and it is a good feeling when you're helping someone else, but you're doing something that you love with it. It is really good fun to do.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, you've got Gizmo, your amazing dog that I've been seeing pictures, so you get to spend more time at home with him as well.
Yeah, and he was also a big motivator of it. You know, he's getting a lot older. He's 13 now. And, I want to make his last few years the best that I can.
Absolutely.
And I can be here with him, and he's pretty much always sitting right next to me.
Always ready to play when you're about to do something.
Yes, also that loves to play all the time, even when it's not good timing.
This is the conversation we were having earlier. It just made me laugh. Like the pets and how they know you and you're just about to get really busy.
They really do. They're like, oh, you look like you're about ready to do something. You want to do something with me now?
Yeah, I didn't want to know you just now, but now you're sat at your computer. I'm desperate to know what you're up to.
Right.
So what is the future for Human Network Connection? Obviously, you're saying you're rather than see it grow at the moment. I should imagine it's going to be growing a whole lot more very soon.
Yeah. So the Human Network Connection, I just reached over 85 connections. And what that means, basically, I've made connections between business owners and media outlets to arrange interviews, guest speaking opportunities. Also, it's not just podcasts, but it's, magazines and blogs and YouTube. And there's just an array, something for everyone. So if actual speaking isn't your forte and you're more of a writer, there's plenty of opportunities for that too. But as far as, where I see it going, this is just the beginning. I have big dreams for this. I just launched a directory where members can actually go in and see the full list of media outlets or businesses who are looking to be interviewed, instead of waiting every week to see who comes through the pipeline in my email.
Yeah.
With that, I'm also going to be starting courses, how to grow your audience for your media outlets.
Fantastic.
Or you're, raising your brand awareness for your business. And of course, all of it circling around, what HNC does. And what's beautiful about HNC is I wouldn't even be here without those members, without these people who need that help. Like, they make the business. They are the business, they're, without them, HNC doesn't exist. And so, it's beautiful that I can watch people grow and see them land, 5 interviews in a month or more, depending on how active they are. And so, it's really exciting to see them be excited about it and then be like, I just wrapped up my first interview ever and it was amazing. And or they're like, I finally nailed my 10th interview. And it's just really great to watch that.
Absolutely. I've seen some of the testimonials. I've done one myself. The amount of emails I'm getting through. I literally have a pile of emails in my inbox that are purely from Abigail going, you've matched with this person that I really need to sit and get on with. Because I sit there and I'm like, the list is just getting bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we're up to 10 connections with you, give or take.
Yeah.
So I think. But I have others who have 15, 20. So it's outrageous the speed, that it grows. And, every day someone is joining and every day someone is needing an interview or they need guests. So, it's never going to quit expanding. And the more opportunities I have to do interviews with you or with other people, I'm just going to keep raising awareness and let people know that I'm here to help them grow.
So you'll literally be having the likes of Anna Wintour and everyone in your inbox soon wanting to join your membership site.
Exactly.
All these top editors will be like, hey, we can't get anyone anymore, so now we need you. Now that would be the dream.
Definitely.
Imagine the prices you could charge them. You'd be like, well, you're Anna Wintour, lad, sorry, the sign up percentage off is gone.
Right. That's the other thing is, the pricing with it is I keep it very affordable. That was something that, when I was first starting out as a VA and, well, even now, some people are asking for, thousands of dollars for certain services. And I'm just like, I don't know how people can essentially afford that, especially new businesses. And that's really what HNC kind of focuses on, is helping those underdogs and new businesses come out and start getting that brand awareness and exposure. And so, just to advertise, you can pay $9.99 a month. But then if you want to be part of the directory membership, then those rates are a little bit higher. I think they're $29.99 and $34.99. But still, I think those are very reasonable compared to a lot of the rates I've seen in certain directories. So, I want to keep it affordable because I don't want anyone to not be able to have access to it.
Absolutely. So obviously with this show being called the roller coaster ride of business, I've literally called it that because for me, business has basically been like I've gone to somewhere like over here, Alton Towers, and I've sat on a roller coaster and I've gone up and down, I've got up and I've like felt like, oh my God. So what is your biggest high for any of your businesses throughout your whole time being a business owner? What is the high on your roller coaster journey?
The high, I guess, is going to be like when I see that my processes and systems are working. Like what I'm providing for people is actually coming together, and it's almost like when you're in the roller coaster and you're just ramping up and you're getting to that first down drop, and when you reach that first one, you're like, wow, I actually did it. I got here. And then it's just on fire after that. You know, you drop down and you just go on the ride. And I think that's my favorite part, is building it up and then watching it explode.
So obviously with every high on a roller coaster comes a low.
Definitely.
What's your low one? Your low point?
The low point, I guess, retrospectively, it's probably when I started becoming a virtual business owner. I still had that mindset of like I had to trade my time for money. And I think that's the low, is I realized that even though I left the corporate world, my time still wasn't my time necessarily. My time was other people's time. And I guess that would be the low, is I want all of my time. I want to be able to have full control of my day and what I choose to work on. And so like that's something I would recommend for any VBO that's coming out into, you know, the world, is think about residual income, think about passive income, things that aren't going to take up hourly time frames, you know. Think about package rates, think about memberships, think about directories, think about clubs. You know, there's all kinds of different things that you could access that doesn't have to be hourly. So that would be, you know, my low was realizing that and figuring it out. And then, you know, once I realized that, I started working in other avenues so that I could kind of start escaping that moment.
So top, we'll say 5 tips for anyone starting out in their own business.
Sure. The first tip is, if you're still working in the corporate world, don't just like pack up and leave instantly. I've seen a lot of people do that. They get really excited about what they're doing. They're like, oh, I'm going to make so much money, and then call it good. That doesn't usually happen. So if you're in the corporate world, keep your job until you can definitely replace your income there, steadily, not just for 1 month, not for just 2, but a steady position. The next one would be live in no fear. I mean, I have like 4 or 5 different businesses essentially going. And if I at any moment was like, oh no, I can't do this, you know, I'm too fearful to start another one. How am I going to do that? I would never be where I am today. So don't live in fear. Definitely just be brave and go for it when you can. The next one would be, don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask them how you can be of value of service to them, because you just never know. Don't be afraid of the no. The no is only going to make you stronger, because it's going to make you realize how you can help others better, especially if people don't see it. And sometimes people just need help seeing it. They don't realize, you know, what it is you are actually doing and how you can be of service to each other. My 4th tip would be, there is no competition. People have this idea that every other business is competition and we have to beat each other down and get each other's clients, and you know, that's how you grow. I've made more progress with all of my businesses through partnerships and co-collaborating than you would ever make thinking everyone is, you know, at war with you. So definitely work together as much as you can. And my 5th one would be, if you can't afford someone's services and it's just out of your price range, let them know. There's going to be more times and more opportunities that people are just going to work with you anyways. And then once you reach that point where you're financially more stable and can invest in the services, then you can. But don't be afraid to let them know that. There's plenty of things that I do. I trade with people and let them know that I'm here to help their growth, you know, in whatever facet that's going to be for them.
Definitely. So obviously social media has become a big part of everyone's business now. And I always try and ask people, especially last week, because I had Scott Davis on, who is a like strategic marketing expert. Like it was a mouthful for me to say it then. It's a mouthful for me to say it now. He was laughing at me last week because I couldn't say it properly. So we were talking about the biggest like social media like bugbears and mistakes that we've seen people make. And I've said my biggest annoyance on social media is when you're scrolling through and you get those posts come up that are like, we made like $400,000 the last 3 months, and here's our step-by-step guide on how to do it. And you're like, oh, okay, like this will be an interesting read. And they give you 3 tips, and then they go, if you want the rest of the guide, you need to pay $695 for it. And you're just like, are you joking me? You've literally just put on the advert that it's free. I've got the first 3 steps for free, and now I've got to pay $695 for the next like 7 steps. Are you joking? That really annoys me.
It's clickbait. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's operating from a place of wholeness, of heartfeltness. Like that's just obviously someone just trying to collect money. Don't say one thing and then not deliver that.
Absolutely.
If it's free, then it should be free, and there shouldn't be a clickbait process there. You will never see that happen in any of my business structures, not once. If I say I'm going to give you something, I give you something.
Definitely.
And most times I give it at you at a fair rate, not like $699 or $400,000. That's crazy. I don't like those kind of clickbaits. I also really dislike those emails where they insert like like you guys have already been chatting.
Yeah.
But you've never been chatted with this person. Like,
no, I haven't got a clue who you are, love. You jumped into my inbox.
How do you even get my email? It's those kind of tactics that I don't suggest doing those.
No.
I think your business is going to grow the more heart-centered it is. It's not. Yeah, those are just cheap tactics. I'll just leave it at that.
The thing that makes me laugh is I will be redesigning the magazine website soon, and I've had a couple of emails. Obviously, my email address is given out on this show in every issue of the magazine, and like everything that I do for it, my email is always at the bottom. And this company have got hold of me like via this email, and it's like our website design conversation, and I'm like, I haven't spoken to anyone about designing the website because I can do it myself. I'm fully capable of doing WordPress, so I wouldn't have once asked anyone for it. And then you click on it, and it's this whole opening stuff of, we specialize in this, and this. We've taken a look at your website. They literally start with an insult. We've taken a look at your website, and it's outdated and old, and we think we can do better for you. And I'm like, talking to me like that, you really think I'm gonna then carry on reading your email, let alone getting back to you and going, yeah, sure, you've just insulted me because my website is outdated. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had a chance to sit down and redesign it yet, but there's still articles on there that people can read. It's not like it's an empty shell. And I'm just like, if you've insulted me with this opening line of this email, I'm seriously not gonna then go, here, have some money to redesign a website that I know full well I can do myself. And it really bugs me because like when you get the emails that are like, yeah, come and do this, and I sit there and I'm like, I don't want to click on that link. I don't know you. We haven't had this conversation. I'm not giving you money because you've just insulted me. To me, that is really bad business. I don't mind getting an email from people offering their services. But when you get the insult, or where it's like the read of, we've already had this conversation, and then the email, like if I'd printed it off, I swear it would have been about 3 A4 pages long before you even got to the pricing. I was like, I'm bored now, delete. And then 3 days later, I got another one saying, furthermore to our conversation, this is the pricing of everything. I'm like, who have you been having a conversation with? Because I can guarantee you it wasn't me.
Right.
And I really get the urge to send an email back saying, I don't know who you've been having this conversation with, but I'm the only one with access to this email, so I can guarantee you it won't have been me you were talking to. And then I sit there and I'm like, well, no, because then I'm just going to get like a bad reputation. With social media, you find nowadays so much stuff is just posted negatively for no reason. And I really don't want to take that risk. I mean, there's been a couple of cases I posted up in business groups that I'm a member of. I don't know if you've seen them, about people that have had negative reviews, and these people haven't even been customers of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out there's actually, like you were saying, the whole competition thing. Someone's found out that they do the exact same business as this person, got them and all their friends to write all these negative reviews, so it takes their like rating down. And these guys look fantastic because those same friends have been posting on their page about how fantastic they are. And I'm like, it's a really like shitty thing to do.
Right.
Why would anyone do that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't operate from a space like that, so I don't even understand that. It's really sad that other people are that fearful.
Yeah.
Similar businesses, if they go to those lengths to tear someone down. I just, I believe in karma. I hope that comes back eventually,
Yeah. I mean, I sit there and I'm like, I know that I'm not, when I first started out, virtual assistant wasn't really seen very much in England. And there are a lot more, but these are people that have like, they've got their savings, so they've already been able to leave their job and build it up whilst living off of their savings. So obviously that they may have started off me. They're further along in their business than I am, but I still wouldn't then be like, hey, I need all of my friends who have never used this person's services before to go and give them a bad rating, because to me they're just making a living. They might have a family to look after.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I think in my head. Like,
yeah, people
I
don't
could
think
be
of the repercussions of their actions.
Yeah, I just sit there like, I wouldn't ever do that because of the fact that they might have started after me. They might be further along than me. But the amount of people that are starting their own businesses now that are going to need a virtual assistant, and it's not just that, these people that are further along than me have hiked their prices right up.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to work with small businesses. And I know, being a small business owner, that I'm never going to be able to afford massive prices like that, and neither are my target audience. So I know that target audience, when they find out about me, are going to come to me because my prices aren't a ridiculous amount.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is, I feel like when you charge the more fair rates, you're going to end up with more people anyway. So it's not that you'll never make a whole bunch of money. It might take you a little bit longer to build that client. But, even with 100 members at $29.99, that's like $3,000 a month. That's amazing. So, it just depends on your perspective and how you go about obtaining those memberships and making sure that they are receiving valuable content and all of that. So, I mean, you don't have to charge outrageous rates. You don't have to, but people do.
I've seen business owners over here that charge like £50-60 an hour. Now, I don't know what that is in dollars. I mean, we just worked out like flights to San Diego, and it was like an extra 800 on top of what it would be. So I'm going to guess that like it's going to be about $70.
Mm-hmm.
But I sit there and I'm like, you're sitting there for an hour, you're charging them an hour's rate for a task that could potentially only be taking you 20 minutes, and you're expecting maybe this business owner is a single mum who has got divorced, now needs to be able to pay the rent and stuff like that, wants to have their own business so they can be at home with the kids, and you want them to pay 70 odd quid an hour.
Right.
Which to me is just insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think really it just depends on, I think people who realistically understand that they can't afford those rates probably won't go to those. They're going to look around until they find someone that they can afford that's in their set budget.
Yeah.
For me, like, I don't foresee me raising my monthly rates on HNC. I just don't. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to raise rates on other avenues that HNC is in. Like I make the one-pager exposure sheets. Those rates will go up. I'm getting ready to actually knock those up in January. So, you just have to decide like where you want to make those cuts and those changes and decide that's right for you and your business and your ideal clients.
Definitely. And I mean, I've seen your one-page like media sheets, and they are, I'm going to say it, freaking awesome. I didn't swear that, and I said frickin' just to point it out to people because I did get told off a while back. But no, they are amazing. Like the style of them and stuff. You don't really see them around like very much. Like there's not a lot of people that offer them as part of their graphic design thing. I think I've only seen maybe one other person that offers them, and hers are a completely different style. to how you do them. So it's not like you guys are even treading on each other's toes kind of thing. You're literally two completely different areas of America. And so I'm not being funny, America's a big place. There's plenty of business people there for the both of you.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
you guys are the only ones that I've seen on the internet that actually do them.
Thank you. Yeah. Like I said, graphic design is where I started out. When I was in the corporate world, I was a graphic designer for a law firm. And, that's where I gained most of my experience with this. And so, when I sat down and I was like, all right, Abby, it's time to leave corporate America. What are you good at and what can you provide? Like, I literally just took a piece of paper, I wrote down all of my skills, and I created a business out of it. This is what I'm good at. Everything else from there is just things that have grown and things that have happened. So, I guess that would be another advice for anyone who's transitioning into VBO is, if you are doing it, then seriously pull out that piece of paper, write down your strengths and your weaknesses and see where you can improve and just be really honest with yourself and go from there.
So I'm going to ask this question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. Obviously, in America, you guys have a whole lot of different expenses than we do over here. So obviously, when I eventually quit my job, if I need to say go to a hospital or anything, I haven't got to have the worry like you guys have over there of having insurance and stuff like that. Has that affected how you do your business, knowing that you've got all these kind of like expenses that you've got to pay?
No, not really. I don't have insurance. I don't go to the hospital. I'll probably be just like not happy with that decision if something were to ever happen. But I never, knock on wood, I never get sick. I've never had any big things happen to me, so I've never really been worried about it. We've had to have what we call Obamacare in the past, and we've had to pay for that. I will say that when that first came out and it was required, I had gotten a raise at work for like 15 cents, 20 cents, something ridiculous. And that right there upped my Obamacare from the free level to the level I had to start paying $500 a month.
That's insane.
And that blew my mind. I'm like, my raise doesn't even give me $500 a month. Where am I supposed to get this on top of everything else? So this past year is the first year that they decided to make it not required. You don't have to have it. And so what I can say about that is if something ever does happen, we do have services that when you go to the hospital, you can tell them and you can let them know. Or we have free healthcare clinics. So if something else, you have places and resources to go. It just depends on what you decide to do in that moment and what's out there. So I would say, I moved to San Diego almost a year ago now. And I could have, at the time when I first started my VBO business, I could barely afford rent in a podunk town in Washington State. I was living in a garage studio. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to afford this. But now I'm living down in San Diego where my rent is twice the amount. And given, it is what it is. I'm paying for the location and the weather and the beaches and all of that. But it's amazing to see that, like, that's where I was, and this is where I am now. And it's only going to get better. You know? You just have to have that mindset. You just have to have that realization that, this is temporary and things are always going to start improving. You just have to stay there in that mind.
Definitely. That's cool. Because I mean, like, I was sat there chatting to my friend one day, and I was just like, I don't know how, like, because I worry about things like that, obviously. With the medical condition I have, I'm always going to be on medication and stuff. And I sat there and I worked out that when I go full time, exactly how much I'm going to need to make just to cover my bills. And then I was like, holy crap, I really need to sign some virtual assistant clients up and get everything else like up and running for me so that I can actually make that leap. And I think maybe that's why I'm still in my full-time job, because in my head I'm like, oh my god, how am I going to afford it to go like from work to being a business owner? And I just sit there like, oh my god, like I've got rent to pay, I've got food to be able to buy, I've got all these extra bills on top to pay. And then obviously I'm going to want to have money because I'm going to have all this extra time where I'm not working because I'm going to be in charge. So maybe I want to go to the cinema or something like that. And I was just like, there's a lot of money I need to make.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You just have to shift your mindset about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brilliant that you wrote all of that down. Everyone should always have like a rolling calculation of their expenses every month. Yeah. That's just a given. That's the only way you can step out and be a VBO, is to understand how that connects. And then, from there, it's putting the pricing in place that's going to get you to achieve that. Yeah. And then once you've gotten there and you've held that steady, then it's just growing from that point. Yeah.
So we're going to wrap this up now. If you want to tell everyone where they can come and find you.
Yeah. So you can get in touch with the Human Network Connection if you're a media outlet looking to have expert guests on your show and do interviews, or if you're a business and you're looking to grow your media appearances. The place you can go ahead and find us is going to be www.humannetworkconnection.com. Yeah. Everything you need is there. You can find me on all social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all by looking up the Human Network Connection. So that should pretty much get you everywhere.
Awesome. So guys, you can find me on Facebook at empoweredvauk or at Empowered Magazine, or on the Global Voice Radio page. They will pass on any messages that you have for me. If you have any questions regarding everything that we've chatted about tonight, drop it in the comments, and then myself or Abigail, because she will be tagged in it, can jump on and give you an answer. So thank you for joining me. It's been a great chat.
Thank you very much, Hannah. I've had a very good time. It's nice being on your show, and I look forward to hopefully speaking with you more in the future.
Definitely. We'll be checking in a couple of months' time. You'll be like this millionaire sat in this mansion.
The dream.
Thanks, guys, and I will be back next week.
Thank you for listening. Join Hannah Edwards and the roller coaster ride of business every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Global Voice Radio, where your voice is heard.